Hey guys, so as you might have heard in one of my recent videos, for a little bit I'm doing some audio only videos because my room is a complete mess because I'm painting at the minute, and that painting is kind of going slowly because on days where I'm doing much work on videos, on days where I have lots of other things to do, I'm basically just not bothering to paint because I kind of want to do like a whole wall at a time. So for a little while, a lot of my videos are going to be audio only, if not all of them. And today, I just want to have a bit of a rambly video. This is one of my discussion videos where I just ramble about a particular subject for a little bit. The game that you can see in the background, I'm not sure what that's going to be, maybe Crusader Kings, maybe RuneScape. I'm actually recording this before recording the game footage, so I'm not sure yet. But I'll probably put it on screen. Anyway, I just want to briefly talk about my first impressions of my new chair. So if you saw my recent video where I was talking about the painting and stuff, you'll also know that I got a new chair. I replaced my kind of cheap gaming-y, racing-y style chair with a used Herman Miller Aeron. The Herman Miller Aeron is a more ergonomic office chair, and I've been using it for I think about a week now, a little bit over a week or something. I'm not actually sure, I can't remember what day it arrived now. I plan to do a full review of this chair. So this is just my kind of first thoughts, first impressions for anyone who might have been interested when they heard about that. You know, maybe your chair is starting to die or something and you're wondering whether one of these fancy office chair type things is worth it. So first of all, I'll say it's a really kind of unusual experience using something that's so adjustable compared to my old chairs. I was kind of used to this whole thing where you sit down on a chair and it's either comfortable or not comfortable. You either like it or you don't. But I found that with this chair, and I assume all other very adjustable chairs, is not quite like that. You sit down, and it's probably reasonably comfortable, but not amazing. And then you adjust it, and if you adjust it like badly, it can actually be quite uncomfortable. And if you adjust it right, it can be really incredibly like out of this world comfortable. To me, that's just a really unusual experience. Like, I'm just used to all of the chairs being the same all of the time. It kind of boggled my mind that one chair could be so uncomfortable if set up wrong and so comfortable when set up right. Over the last week, I have spent a fair bit of time like trying to get it set up to my needs, playing around with tilt tension, playing around with the right height. I've got myself a bit of a footrest, like a DIY footrest. It's literally just a headrest from an old sofa wrapped in a towel at the minute because after buying that chair, I have like zero money and I don't want to buy a footrest straight away. One of the main things I found is that it's really crucial to get the lumbar support set up right. Basically, there is this like pad or cushion that you put in the back of the chair, and you can adjust its height up or down so that it fits in with the curve in your base of your spine. And assuming you got it in the right place, it feels really, really comfortable, like you're getting a bit of a back massage. But it takes a while to find the sweet spot, and when it's not in the right place, it doesn't feel quite so comfortable. You can, of course, just take the cushion out if you don't like having the lumbar support, but the lumbar support is one of the things that makes this chair good for your back when you're sitting for longer hours. So personally, I thought it was worth the time that it took me to find the sweet spot. So that's the next thing I want to ramble about, back pain. I've actually had back pain from sitting for quite some time now. I sit at my computer a lot, so a few things to keep in mind. First of all, I have this channel that I'm working on. Second of all, a significant portion of the time that I actually spend relaxing and not working is also at the computer because I like playing video games, I like watching YouTube videos and so on. And on top of that, my social anxiety has been pretty bad over the last few years. So I don't have a crazy active social life at the minute, so that means even more time spent at home on the computer. And what that adds up to is a lot of time sitting. Now I do make the effort to get up and move around every so often, so I'm not just glued to my chair for like 5 hours straight without a break or whatever, but I was still getting back pain. And my old chair really wasn't helping it. My old chair was not supportive whatsoever. And I would get up, and every time I got up from the chair, it was just like my back was like a plank of wood. I remember like if I was sitting down or standing up, whether it was this chair or another chair, it just always hurt me, and I felt like an old man. It was like my back shouldn't be hurting this much when I'm 26 years old. This is not really good. It really hurt me in the gym as well. Like anytime I did anything that involved my back, I found I was having lots of issues with starting to round my back when I was squatting and my back hurting when deadlifting, even with a straight back, just because my back was so painful all the time anyway. Now, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, my pain was pretty low. It's just that it was always there and always kind of getting in the way, and my back was always really stiff. And so it really annoyed me, and I just thought, I need to do something about that. I'm replacing my chair anyway. I should shell out a little bit extra for something that is actually going to help my back in the long run. So I did, and I have to say I'm pretty amazed. So I mentioned earlier that this chair is adjustable and there's some kind of setup that you have to do with it to get it just right for you. But even in that time, even when the chair wasn't yet super comfortable for me, when I was still playing around with it, I noticed that when I was getting up from the chair, my back wasn't feeling like this stiff plank of wood. It wasn't feeling all rigid. It wasn't feeling all painful and uncomfortable. And, I thought maybe I'm just imagining this, maybe my back pain's going to come back in a couple of days. Maybe it's just because I've been playing around with the settings of the chair so much, moving about more, it hasn't been hurting. But I've noticed consistently that every day I don't actually have all of this back pain anymore. I've noticed that I'm not getting back pain during my workouts anymore. I've noticed that it's not like all stiff when I'm trying to stand up and sit down anymore. And I've only been using this chair for a week, and I'm still sitting in it most of the day, so it's not like I'm getting up and walking around tons. And now that I have got the chair configured right, it's super comfortable when I'm sitting on it as well, so I'm feeling comfortable in my back when I'm sitting on it, and I'm feeling comfortable when I'm not sitting on it. So it's basically done the job, and for that reason I think that the purchase has been worth every penny. Now, whether or not you actually need to buy something fancy like an Aeron to actually relieve your back pain if you're in a similar situation to me is pretty debatable. You could probably get away with a rather simple, cheap office chair and a decent lumbar cushion that you can buy off Amazon for like, $20 or something. But I can definitely say whatever you do, whether you shell out for an ergonomic chair or you just get like a lumbar cushion for your existing chair, I really do think it is worth investing in your back, because the difference is night and day for me, and it's only been a week of using it. And I can only imagine how much pain and trouble it's going to save me in the future, because considering how much and how often my back was hurting at 26 years old, I can only imagine how bad it would be by the time I'm 50 or 60 or something. So anyway, some other brief thoughts on the chair. I don't want to go too in depth because this isn't the full review. In the full review I also plan to do a guide teaching you guys like how to set up your chair right and so on, if anyone else decides to get one or already has one. One thing that I've really loved is the adjustable armrests, being able to adjust them up and down. A lot of chairs, as long as you're not buying like super cheap office chair or super cheap gaming chair, a lot of them now have adjustable arms, and I think it's a really useful thing, because I didn't realise just how much arm position actually contributes to back pain. When I actually first got this chair, I just set the arms to like the full height, because I was kind of used to high up armrests from my old chair, but then I found that I was getting some like shoulder and upper back pain, and I lowered the armrest down to pretty close to the bottom setting, not all the way, but basically where my arms are more of a right angle, and all of that upper back pain just completely disappeared within like half an hour. I didn't realise it was from having my arms resting so high, and that might have been another reason for some of the pain I was getting with my old chair, because on that one the arms weren't adjustable. A non-ergonomic and non-back pain related thing that I really love about this chair is just the way that it tilts. So with a lot of chairs they tilt one of two ways. Either the back just tilts on its own and the seat just stays in place and the back just moves up and down, or the chair kind of rocks together as one unit, kind of like a rocking chair. But this chair doesn't do that. It has a kind of synchronized tilt function where the back goes back and the seat moves as well, but the seat doesn't move as much as the back. So like the seat kind of moves a little bit, but not quite so much. And a lot of ergonomic chairs do this. They call it synchro tilt or something like that. I believe this was one of the first to do this, one of the first chairs to do this, and they called it the Kinemat tilt in the Aeron. But I personally really love the way that the Aeron does it, because it makes it really good for when you're like listening to music. If you're someone that likes to kind of bounce your head up and down when you're listening to music, just move a little bit in your chair, you can basically rock the whole chair in that same kind of motion, and it just moves with you, and it's really fun. Like if you've ever had the urge when you were listening to a good song to just get up and dance to it, but you feel like that would be a bit silly to get up out of your chair and dance, you can kind of do that with this chair without getting up. You can kind of just rock back and forth and it feels like you're dancing to music. It's pretty cool. I suspect that's another reason that a lot of like music producers and stuff like the Aeron. The only two major things that I can pick out that I wish they changed about this chair were, I wish there was a default headrest for the chair. You can actually buy some aftermarket options, and I'm planning to buy one of them at some point, or even make my own DIY headrest. But it'd be really cool if this chair just had a headrest, because this chair is really nice for reclining in, and obviously when you're reclined it's just so much nicer if you can actually put your head back on something. The other thing I wish this chair had is the ability to lock in the recline function. So this chair has what's called a tilt limiter, which basically limits you from tilting back any further. So let's say you don't want to tilt all the way back, but you want to like half recline, well, you can lock it in that position and it won't go back any further. But the actual back of the chair doesn't lock in that position. It still goes all the way upright if you're sitting upright, but then when you lean back, it'll go back close to that position. And most of the time, it doesn't really matter that you can't lock it, because as long as you've got the tilt tension right, you can just kind of push it back to whatever position you like and hold it there. But I find that if I want to recline really far back, perhaps because I'm so light, it's just really difficult even with the tilt tension set like to the lowest setting. So if I actually wanted to stay like really far reclined back, then it's kind of hard. And if there was a function to just be able to lock it in place, that would be really awesome for that. But other than that, I haven't really found any flaws with this chair. And I'm also remember sitting in one that's at least 14 years old, and I haven't had any problems because of that either. So yeah, so far I'm really liking it. It's built like a tank. It seems to be helping my back pain in a massive way. It's really comfortable. It's really fun when listening to music. It's very adjustable, and it's just a pretty awesome chair. So yeah, if you're interested in learning more about the chair, then be sure to stay tuned for my review. And also, if you did watch this through to the end and you're interested for whatever reason in getting a new chair or something, let me know if you'd like me to talk more about the subject, because I spent like months researching different chairs before I actually bought this one. So I feel like I've developed a bit of an interest in chairs now. And I imagine that there are some people who are watching this and they think, oh, this Aeron sounds really cool. And then you go off and you look at the price, even for a used one, and you're just going to go, what the hell, I'm not spending that much on a chair. And there's a kind of tendency when this subject comes up that people will just say, oh, well, it's worth it. You have to spend that much money. You know, it's for your back in the long run and so on. And while I do think it is worth it if you can afford it, I do think there are much, much cheaper options if you don't want to spend that much money. I think there are things that you can get for less. And so let me know if you guys would like me to make a few more videos on the subject, you know, about ergonomics and stuff. And basically how you can protect your back and get a decent enough chair at different price ranges, maybe. I know it's not what I usually make on this channel, and you don't have to worry, my channel's not going to become like a chair review channel or anything like that, but since I feel like I've learned a little bit about the chairs and so on, I figure I may as well share that on my channel and maybe help someone out if someone else is looking to get one. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you're subscribed and enable notifications. Leave a like if you like this video. Leave a dislike if you hated this video. Check out my Patreon if you want to see some of my exclusive content over there, and check out one of the videos on screen if you want to keep watching. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you soon. Take care.